welcome back to Black Coffee and Grits. I'm Lisa. It is August 1st. Well, tomorrow will be August 1st. I feel like summer is screeching to a halt. Although the weather summer part is not screeching to a halt. It is hot as blue blazes here in Texas. But back to school is coming soon. Sooner than I don't know. I guess it always is kind of a jolt from summer schedule back to reality. Like, okay, mom, get all the things done, be an adult, do all the adulting, you know? So this week, my friend and I got together for a coffee meetup and some pool time because she was going back to school yesterday. And we needed to get in the last little bit of summer that we could together. So as some of you may know, my son Will is getting ready to go back to school. It's a huge change for us because I have been homeschooling him for the last several years since 5th grade, and he is going into 9th grade. So high school is here, which I'm still not ready for that. Probably just never will be. You're just gonna take me kicking and screaming on that one. But because he's my only, and he's bigger than me, but he's still my son. He's still my baby, right? So we've been doing all the things. We had an amazing July. Let me show you the book. My cross stitch planner from Katie the Nap Time Stitcher is full. Look at all this, like something on literally every day. Did I stitch every day? Cross stitch? No, I did not. But I did some kind of crafting every day in the month of July. I took 2 trips. My son took a trip. He went to the beach in Alabama and got to enjoy some nice, cooler temperature. Although tropical storm, now I can't remember the name of that storm, but there was a storm that cropped up out in the Gulf, and so it kind of put a damper on some of their plans because the weather was a little bit rainy, and then the water was just not safe every day to be playing in. So but he still had a good time. They had a good time, and while he was at the beach, I was home. But the week before that, I went to Missouri Star Quilt Co in Hamilton. I feel very lucky to have gotten into one of the Doan Girls Retreats and had a blast. I went with my friend Michelle and her mom, Louita, and we met up with some other friends of theirs. Louita's best friend, Carrie, who were like kindred spirits. We bonded over baseball and had the best time watching the All-Star game and the home run derby while we quilted. And then her friend Allie also came in from Arizona. So we had a full table, so much good time, like good crafting time and good just quality girl time. So that was awesome too. And then I said I went on another trip because right after I got back, well, it was like the following weekend after I got back from Missouri Star, we went to a little gathering of friends for a private retreat at Boxcar Quilts, which is up in Aubrey. So it's not too far away, but it still was, taking me away from home. And that's okay because I had a great time visiting and catching up with lots of friends there. Lots of cross stitching happened at that retreat. So I have tons to show you. Let's see, I only have one FFO. I showed you my planner, right? I think I did. Yes, I did. Okay, sorry. I'm not even going to say it. I'm not always with it. I have one FFO, which is this lovely little piece that I have been working on as kind of a monthly goal. And this is Heart and Hands Square Dance is the series. And so I did August, and then I mounted it on this trivet, and I'm mounting all these pieces with washers and magnets so that you can easily swap them out. So August is here with the bee skeps. that was my only FFO for the month. However, I have tons of cross stitch whips to show you because I continued with my temperature stitching. So I'll show you whips, and then I did get 2 big quilt finishes. I finished a top that I was working on, and then I finished my Liberty quilt, and I actually quilted it myself, and I have the binding all complete on that. So I'll show you that soon. And I did not finish my knitting whip, but I did make some progress on my socks. So I'll show you some knitting progress. And then, did I mention that we made a slight detour on the way home from Missouri Star? Because you know what's in Missouri? There's a really fabulous cross-stitch shop in Missouri called Color and Cotton. So actually, we also went to Quilter Station on the way, and we went to some quilt shops. And then on the way back, we went to Color and Cotton. It was 4 hours out of the way, but it was well worth it. So I'll tell you all about that when I get to haul. And then I'll just drop in details here's and there's about the trip and the retreats and how much fun all that was. Okay, I'm sitting here looking at how there's haul actually strewn all across the table over here. So also, my husband is expected home soon, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm hot. Did I mention it's been 100 degrees and up over here in Texas? So hot as blue blazes. I'm dying, and I'm wearing a dress because Will and I had to go to the school today and get his schedule, and then we went and got uniforms. Woo, I earned a trophy for that. So I'm gonna get through as much of this as possible today, and then I may end up recording some more of it tomorrow. We'll see how it goes, because I may tire out. Do you ever tire out? I don't know why I thought I could do, I always think I can do everything, but then I run out of gas at some point. I'm like, nope, going to bed. Ask Michelle. Okay, so I'll just jump in and show whips, and my bags are not necessarily in order, but I'll try to be somewhat organized with this. So as you know, I've been doing temperature stitching, so I have this little like cheat sheet card sitting here with all of the names of the projects. A couple of them didn't get called. We had hot weather. But oddly, well, also, let me back up. Because when I went to Missouri Star the week, I was gone for like a whole week, like I think Saturday to Sunday, something like that. So I knew that there was a chance I wasn't going to get to do a lot of cross stitching during that time because we were focused obviously on quilting. But also just we were driving and yada yada, you know how it is. So I brought just Pandemic with me, which is my 1 strand a day project. And then I brought One Nation with me. Have I shown you guys One Nation? I can't remember if I showed that last time, but I think I did. Did I? Maybe I just said I'm gonna keep it on my list because I didn't get to start that the month before. Is that true? I feel like kind of a mess. I feel like I didn't tell you hardly anything about my finish, like any of the details, and then I just jumped to whips. Okay, when did I start? Oh, yeah, no, I've not shown you One Nation. So I started One Nation. So there is a start, there's something new that you haven't seen, and then I made a ton of progress on some of my whips. But a few of my whips didn't get called, mostly because I was traveling, and like I said, I didn't take everything. I took One Nation because I found it's a really easy pattern to follow. So stay tuned for that in just a minute. Okay, I feel parched, like I already need a drink, and I just started this. So, I'm just gonna grab the pattern for this and show this one more time. This is my FFO. It's stitched up on a piece of scrap Ada. It's just kind of a light tan. And then I used my own colors. Some of them were the called fors and some of them were just something that was similar. because I just used floss from stash. So this is the pattern, Heart and Hands Square Dance. It's a series. There are 12 of these. And like I said, I've been completing one a month. So there, I think I got all the details. If you want color conversions ever from me, please just ask me. I do, for the most part, keep up with that. Sometimes I'm good about posting on Instagram. Other times I'm not so great at posting on Instagram, especially when I'm super busy. So I have a little dog growling at me. What is it, Blanco? You can come over here. Come on. You can eat. As you guys know, Blanco is a picky eater. He's doing a little bit better. I changed up their dog food and I think he's doing a little bit better. But okay, so aside from the temperature stitching, I did get into one Christmas in July project. So the theme for our cross stitch retreat was Christmas in July. And I really hadn't been in the mood. I'm usually not in the mood to stitch on Christmas. I know I probably should be. I should probably just crank up the air and pretend it's cold outside because it's so hot. But the truth is, it gets so hot in Texas that even with the air conditioner running and all the things, you still know it's hot. Like, I haven't been able to drink hot coffee because I'm too hot. In the morning, I want only iced. But I did get out one cross stitch Christmas whip, which I even have a card in here. This is Christmas Rules by Lizzie Kate. It is also a series of charts. There are 6 of these. Each of them has 2 patterns per booklet, and you stitch it all up like this in a list. It's called Christmas Rules. So, Blanco, you're gonna drive me absolutely bananas. Either come in and eat or go. These are the conversations I have with Blanco. Okay, so my Christmas Rules by Lizzie Kate is being stitched on 32 count Bramble by Picture This Plus. And I'm stitching it 2 over 2. And some of these colors are called fors and some of them are color and cotton. Similar to what was called for. I might have brightened them up just a smidge, but like I know the red is called Jolly Suit. And I really like how it has a lot of variegation in it. And then the green is Good Cheer from Color and Cotton. I have my list here. So a lot of the rest of them are just what's called for the Week Star Works, but those 2 kind of stand out. That and the pink. The pink is Peony by Color and Cotton. Okay, so I got all the way, I had finished this block before I put this away last season, and then I finished this block. No pouting. So no pouting, got a little stocking in there. And I know at the beginning of the year, before I went rogue and did temperature stitching for Mania, I had said I really wanted to get this out once a month, like on the 25th, and try to finish this. Really, I think these go so fast that I should just really try to do that. But I'm not making any promises because I'm a seasonal stitcher and sometimes I'm just not in the mood for Christmas when it's blazing hot outside. I thought I might show you this cute little zipper pull that's making little jingly sounds and a cute project bag. I do not know who made this bag though. It's been a hot minute since I bought it. So, next up is temperature stitching, and in no particular order. I was still very much stitching Patriotic. So I left my patriotic whips on the list. I think maybe I added a couple. In fact, this one I think is one that I pulled out. Always Remember by Plum Street Samplers. And I do not have a card for what this fabric is, but I think it's 28 count Silver Fox. I was looking to see what the called for was. The called for is on eucalyptus, but it doesn't say who. Oh, it was fabric, Fox and Rabbit. This is not Fox and Rabbit. I think this might be Fiber on a Whim, but I do not have a tag on it. I do know, as my friend Michelle says, because she stitches on 40 count all the time, when I'm stitching on 28 count or 32, she's like, you can see those holes from space. So she's young. She's got good eyes. I cannot see these holes from space. But with my magnifier, I can see them great. Actually, on 28 count, I don't need a magnifier. I'm stitching this with the called for flosses. Just kind of looking at this, making sure that's true. I do not have a note card in here for this project, but I do have a very cute bag made for by my friend Brooke. We started this as a sal together, Brooke and Michelle and I. Michelle is long since finished. So I worked on the house. I got the roof in, and I started working on the eagle. And I think I want to change the color of the house. The call for is Tennessee Red Clay, which is all fine and good. I don't know. Maybe I'll leave it. I feel like, I don't know. When I look at it, I do really like it, and it is balanced. But it'll be a game time decision what I end up doing with the house. A hot day calls for a cool beverage. Okay. The next whip in my pile is a Worthy Patriot. I feel like a little bit of a hot mess right now. I think I say that every time. Maybe I'm just classically a hot mess. Some of it is that I physically feel hot. Okay, pattern. Pattern for this. A Worthy Patriot by Plum Street Samplers. This is the one that came out at market this past year, and I flipped out over it. I had to have it. I wanted to start it for the 250th. I don't know if I'll keep going on it or if I will take a break from it, but I have enjoyed stitching on it. I'm stitching it on a piece of 32 count Old Stationery by Seraphim, and I'm loving my fabric choice. I'm using the call for flosses, except I did swap out black coffee for 310. You guys know how I love black coffee and the softness of black coffee versus the harshness of 310, even though I do use 310 sometimes. But this is progress made. I don't remember what I showed you last time. I can't remember if I had stitched this little guy or not, but I do know I worked on this dove, the second one. So it's working my way over here so I can start going down the border. I have seen so many people finish this. It looks amazing. Blanco, come here. Come here. Come here. So many people have finished this. It looks amazing. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if I'll finish it this year or not. I haven't sat down and thought about what whips I'm going to take into August with me as far as my temperature stitching goes. I'll be honest with you, a lot of times it's funny because I say, I'm a seasonal stitcher, I'm a seasonal stitcher. And it's true. But there is a point where I'm just over summer completely, and I say no more summer and I go to fall. But I don't know at what point that will happen for me. Sometimes, I don't know. Actually, what I really was thinking about was Sampler September's coming up. And I actually do have a lot of sampler whips. So perhaps, this is a cute little bag made by me. Perhaps I will start working on samplers. And then if they're not temperature or seasonal related, we shall see. I'm working through two piles. I have a pile over here of all the whips that I so painstakingly ironed yesterday. This is too big for the board. I may have to stand up for this, and I may have to stand up for the next one, and definitely when I show you the quilts, I'm going to have to stand up. I'm trying to determine, can you see through this? But I don't think you can. I think it's going to be okay. So, do you see what happened over here? Yeah, I made a boo-boo. I made a big, big boo-boo on One Nation. Added 2 to the size of the finished stitch size instead of adding 4, like for a 2-inch border, 1 inch all the way around instead of 4. I don't know what happened to me. I'm looking for the cover page and I cannot find it to save my life. While I am looking for it, enjoy this adorable bag by Penny and Toonie. Here we go. This is One Nation by Bygone Stitches, and I started it on July 1st. I remember how I said I was doing temperature stitches and we had no 9s the whole month of June, which I thought was so weird, but it was just the way it was. Well, in the month of July, we had a lot of 9s. We had a lot of 99s. So I started this on July 1st, regardless of the temperature, I think. Stitching it on a piece of Panettone by Roxy Flosstube Co. Is that true? I know it's Panettone. I know. Remember how I said I'm a hot mess? I am a hot mess. I'll admit it. But I do also know where my mess is, for the most part. Just as I remembered, Panettone by Roxy Flosstube Co, 32 count. This is a beautiful, beautiful linen. I am stitching this with 3 floss colors, one of which is the called for. The Blacksmith Blue by Classic Colorworks is the called for. Of course, I swapped the white, whatever was called for grits. So I'm using Weeks Dye Works grits for the white. And for the red, I wanted this red. This is Cayenne by Weeks Dye Works, and I absolutely love it. I love the way it looks with the blue, and I love the variegation in it. It's very deep, like kind of a cherry red, and I'm just loving it so much. So I actually made a decent amount of progress on this in the month of July. Being that I started on July 1st, actually the first day I made it, I think, all the way across the blue portion, and I had stitched like a little bit of these flowers. Well, I wanted to get over here to the stripes and the words because I think stitching words is super easy. But also I knew that for upcoming like sit and stitch and retreat situations, that stitching just one straight line without having to count at all, it's kind of boring when you're by yourself, but when you're trying to concentrate on a conversation and stitch at the same time, it's perfect. So I wanted to get this outlined, and then I also got kind of like over here and started having a total panic attack about whether I was going to run out of fabric. So if you'll notice, I sewed a little strip of fabric on the edge, and that was mainly so that I can get this in my my nurge hoop still and still be able to stitch on it with a hoop because I'm so close to the edge. Otherwise, I was not going to be able to do that. I know. Everybody let out a big sigh for me. I think it's going to be okay. I think this is cut straight enough that I know the margins are very slim, but I think we're going to be all right. I don't know what I'll do if it's not. This thing is huge. Cry? No, I think it's going to be okay. And, you know, I can just leave this strip attached to it for framing purposes, I think. Embarrassing, but these things happen. It is life. 'Tis life, and we will just continue on. I hate folding these whips after I have ironed them painstakingly. It's like, first of all, I don't even like ironing. I just told you we went and got uniforms for Will. And his new school is very formal, and I'm going to have to be ironing shirts all the time. Might be time to treat myself to a new iron. One of those fancy Elisa ones. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, are y'all ready for this? This is a big whip, and I made big progress. I'm super proud of this. This is The Farms of Hog Run Hollow by Carriage Samplings. And I kept thinking, I'm not showing this Carriage Samplings. It's over here on the side. I've been working on this for a long time. As you guys know, this is gonna stay. This is my whip that I'm like dying to finish. I'm stitching it with the call for DMCs. I am stitching it on a huge piece of 32 count latte by Fiber on a Whim, which I love. I love the colors and the way it turns out. You guys, let me make sure I'm showing you the front this time. Yes, I am. Not only did I finish the huge middle block, I also got another block finish. I took this with me to the retreat, and I could not put it down because I got this block finished, the middle one. I got the cows in there. I think this cow is the one that I wasn't quite finished with last time I showed it to you. And then I was like, okay, this doesn't really have that, this Barn Raising Monday block doesn't really have that many stitches in it. I was like, I think I can finish this. So I just put my head down and worked on it. And I think it turned out so cute. And I'm loving this. And I'm halfway. I'm so proud of the progress on this. Let me show the other blocks up close too, because why wouldn't we? We've got the swans, the big red barn, the Wednesday, double yoke Wednesday with the chickens, and the Saturday dance block, which is one of my favorites. I think, okay, this is one project that I'm actually using 310 on. And I do really like the contrast after I'm always saying like, it's so harsh, but sometimes it's the punch that you need. So Michelle and I were talking about moving to the next square being one of my very favorite blocks on this pattern, which is this one right here, which is Fishing Friday. If you will notice, there is a little slithery, yucky snake on there. I am not a fan of snakes, like at all. Like hate them, like freak out. Don't like them. So I'm gonna omit him. I don't want him on my cross stitch. And I think I'm just gonna fill it in with water and grass. Probably. Maybe I'll add another fish down there in the pond at the bottom. But that's where I think I'm going next. Although it was so funny because when Michelle and I were looking at this, she was like, well, but this is cute and that's cute. And it's like every single one of the blocks has something cute in it. I mean, obviously, I want to stitch it all and I will. But I think we're going to Friday fishing. Fishing Friday? I think it's Fishing Friday. The little dog started eating. Trying not to disturb him. This is the cute bag that the Farms of Hawk Run is in. It's a cute bag from Cranberry Bog Cottage in Terre Haute, Indiana. It's one of my favorite shops. One of the things that's so cute about their bags are these zipper pulls. Look at that rooster. They use these little wool balls, felt. I think they're cool. Okay, what's next on the list? Next on the list is Summer ABCs by Little House Needleworks. I'm realizing that it's in plastic and you can see a glare. Sorry about that. That's better. Okay, so this is a long, skinny chart. It is also a seasonal series where there's one for each season, and then they have a couple of other fun ones. I think there's like a sewing one, and I can't remember what the rest of them are. But anyways, my plan was to do all of the seasons. I've done spring. I think that's the only one I've completed. Cute little bag here from Dot Dot Goose Designs. It's a little bee bag. Perfectly summery. Let's see. This is a very long width. Long and skinny. So I'm stitching this on a piece of Milk and Honey 32 count by Fiber on a Whim. It's also another really pretty neutral linen. It's got a little warmth in it. I am doing a bit of a color conversion on this, kind of loosely based on Priscilla from Stitching with the Housewives color conversion. Except I think I modified it even further because I used black coffee for all the letters. And then I'm not necessarily doing her colors exactly the way she did them. I'm kind of just putting them where I want them, figuring it out as I go. So I think I worked on this a little bit, this little section here with these flowers, and I actually ran out of some of my green, and the next skein that I had wasn't matching up, so I kind of hit pause on this until Michelle gave me another skein that did match what I had currently better. So I worked down here a little bit too on the piece of watermelon with the little birds. I really want to fill that in. So I would say that's kind of the only downside to temperature stitching, is that you end up finding yourself, you know, because the next day it's a whole different number, like it's called, and so you're just jumping around a lot. But it's okay. It's been fun too. I feel like I'm touching a lot of whips and I'm not getting bored with anything. So that's nice. And I also can just say, it's my rules. I don't have to temperature stitch if I don't want to. Like on the days that I was at the retreat, I just worked on the hawk run that whole week. And I'm going to tell you that there were 2 days where it was 104 degrees, which is why that got called in the first place. It was awful. Okay, the Sandlot. This is a kit from Forbidden Fiber Co. I shut the bag instead of opening it. I want to show this off real quick. I have a special friend gave me this. You guys know how much I love baseball. She had this like custom made. It says Texas with the little sparkly baseballs. It's so fun. This was a kit from Forbidden Fiber Co. that came with fabric and the whole shebang and like a needle minder and this, that, and the other that I got for my birthday a few years ago. Here's the pattern cover. The Sandlot. So it's from the movie The Sandlot. There's all the sayings. So right up my alley with the baseball, obviously. So I did change the fabric color because the yellow wasn't showing up. So I switched to a gray. I think this is called Cottage Stone by Color and Cotton. Pretty sure. And the flosses are otherwise the called for or what came with the kit from Forbidden Fiber Co. And I think since I saw you last, I finished the glasses and then I did this motif here with the flashlight forever. So if you haven't seen that maybe, it's really cute. You should go see it. Okay. I would say it's not just for baseball fans, but if you like baseball, bonus. It's cute. It's kind of a coming of age. Really cute story about this kid who meets all his buddies playing baseball and he knows nothing about baseball. So it's really cute how he comes to be a part of their group. And it's like their summer shenanigans, like what they get in trouble with. Okay, I'm dropping everything. Trying not to drop it on the dog's head. Remember how I said the dog just started eating and I didn't really want to disturb him? Okay. I actually switched this project into my chicken bag that my friend Michelle made because it's got a big giant chicken on a rooster on it. So it seemed appropriate. This is Teresa Kogut's God is Good. And I know. This looks like a honker. And if I were filling in all that background, like the pattern is plans for, it would be a honker. But I'm not doing that. I found the tag for this. I'm trying so hard to be like better at knowing all the things. Not being such a goober. But this is Water Spirit by Seraphim. It's so pretty. And I feel like, you know, it looks like a sunset sort of and like the grass green with the blues and the, like, I don't know, really pretty sky. So I think it's going to work great for this project. I felt like I wanted to show the pattern again. So I'm stitching it with the called for flosses. It took a long time to get that rooster done. And then, so I worked on some of these penny rounds on the border and then I outlined this flower. So the flosses are mostly, they're Weeks Dye Works flosses. Teresa's colors, and they're beautiful, and I just love it so much. I think it's so cute, and it's a little bit patriotic, but at the same time, it's kind of just a sampler in a way. It's so cute. I love it so much. I'm enjoying working on this fabric. Okay, so we've almost made it through the whips. We are down to my 1 strand a day project, which is, as you probably all know, pandemic. It lives in this bag. Actually, it pretty much lives on my desk because I'm stitching on it every day now, and I have been enjoying it so much. So this is a project bag from Melanie. Oh, I've forgotten her little company's name. Oh, that's why I wish these bags all had little labels. She's got an Etsy shop. She also sells bags on Stash Unload. I'm stitching Pandemic by Long Dog Samplers. I'm supposed to be getting the pattern out. I was like, what am I doing looking in this bag? What am I looking for inside this bag? I have a hard time finding this. Here we go. Cover sheet. Pandemic by Long Dog Samplers. It is what we affectionately call a honker. It's huge. $365 by $429. This is my, like I said, it's now my 1 strand a day project. I'm stitching it on a piece of Mystery Ada 20 count with 1 strand of DMC floss. This is DMC number 29. So I would say I had about this much finished in January when I picked this up, somewhere around there. I need to give you guys a before and after picture. Maybe I can find one and I can pop it in. But it's incredible how much progress has been made on this just in, what, 6 months? So we're over here now. We've made it all the way across, and I'm working toward a page 5 finish. So yeah, working toward a page 5 finish. I did have to frog out a little bit yesterday, but I debated about whether or not it was necessary, and I just decided it was going to cause me more headache not to take. It was just 1 strand, so that's not the end of the world. So those are my whips. Phew, that was a lot. Dare I keep going? I have no idea what time it is. I did see my husband tried to call a few minutes ago, and I did not answer him. Hopefully everything is a-okay. Okay. What shall I show you next? Let me show you knitting, and then we'll do quilting. Ooh, I do have one more whip, but it's a secret. I can't show it to you, so don't even ask. I'm trying to get an early jump on gifts. I'm terrible about waiting until the last minute. Okay, so what we have here is 1 completed sock, and I am using, I was looking for my pattern. Here it is. Summer Lee Design Co's pattern, the Puffy Checks socks. And I know you guys are probably like, last time I was reading this really slow, and I was like, Puffy Checks, is that what that says? Because I'm looking at it backwards on the screen. I am not good at reading like that. Okay, so the reason why it's called Puffy Checks is because it has this cool little textured pattern on the leg of the sock. So I made it down to finishing the leg, and it's time for the heel turn. And I just didn't want to try to take that on a trip and work on that because, to be honest with you, I'm still a new knitter, so This part to me is like, I'm not going to say the most intimidating part, but it's the most complicated part of the sock is when you do not the heel flap itself, but the heel turn and the gussets. There's something on my sock. So this one's all complete. This one is not far away from being complete. We're halfway there, wouldn't you say? And you probably want to know what this beautiful yarn is. This is a, oh, sorry. I don't have all these memorized. This is from Wonder Luck Fibers called On Mockingbird. It's a really fun sport weight yarn, 100% American Merino, and I got it from, I'm trying to remember the name of the shop. It's in Dallas. On Mockingbird Lane. That's why it's called On Mockingbird. Can't think of it right now. My apologies. We can all Google. I'm sure that we can all Google. So that is the main yarn. The other yarn is this lovely gray mini skein that I had called, from Old Rusted Chair, called Riding Out the Storm. And they are in Nashville, it looks like. Nashville, Tennessee. Tough Sock Mini, 75% merino, 25% nylon. I would say the hand on it is different from the sport weight, but I like how the combination is turning out. And like I said, I'm a new knitter, so I may be breaking all the rules. So don't necessarily listen to me, but I'm having fun knitting. So that's the pattern. Those are the yarns. I will get back to this and probably finish that sock this month. I'm hankering to start on some more socks. I actually did cast on another pair for my son, but I really haven't gotten far enough to even show you any of the progress. I needed to measure his foot. I didn't want to get too far into this and be like, oh, well, that was a huge waste of time because it's not even going to fit him. He is growing like a weed. I can't even tell you. So this is a Forbidden Fiber Co. yarn that I got called Shady Pines is the colorway, and it's Gluttony Sock. And they were having a huge sale. So I got this for like dirt cheap, like 15 bucks for this whole skein. And it is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. I can tell it does feel different. It's interesting to work with different fibers. So I need to get Will down here to measure, and then I can keep going on his socks. He was really wanting a pair after. He kept wanting to try mine on, and I'm like, your foot is enormous. My foot is tiny. You're going to stretch out my fabulous handmade socks. No, sir, we're not doing it. So I need to make him his own pair. Okay, quilt time. Do you want to see some quilts? I know you do. Let me grab them. I think I'm going to scoot the camera back and try to show these a little bit from afar because they're big. I've been talking and talking, and I totally turned off the video. I'm not sure at what point I did that. Probably when I was raising up the camera for you guys, because I'm going to show you some quilts. So it's probably fine because I was going to have to edit out myself looking and looking and looking for the pattern. I also knocked over the dog food bowl, which, let's be clear, Blanco does not eat the food out of the bowl anyways. So now he's on a scavenger hunt to eat the food. Okay, welcome to my train wreck. One of the things I said was, does your craft room explode on a daily basis like mine does? Because I feel like I just come in here and then poof, it's like I get out one thing, I get out 10 things. It looks like a gigantic mess. Part of it is haul. It is what it is. I can't help it. A craft room is a work in progress. Okay, so the quilt is called Liberty from Running Dough. The fabrics that I use are scrappy. So like I just pulled stuff that I liked that was all red, white, and blue. You've already seen the top. I've popped in a picture. I am going to do my best to show you this whole thing. This is hard to show because I am 5'2", 5'2", and you know, I don't have a great big giant wingspan, but I'm gonna get in here close for you. So I actually did all the quilting myself. This was the first time I have done the quilting myself. I did it on my machine. I have a Juki. I just did this kind of like crosshatch quilting design. I do know this fabric on the back is a Sweetwater, excuse me, a Sweetwater fabric. I love it so much. And then I got the binding done. So, and I did the binding with my sewing machine. I know people have mixed feelings about that. I want to keep quilting. I don't want a quilt just sitting there and not getting to be used because I'm like avoiding doing the binding. That's silly. And I can do it with the machine quickly. So that was the method I chose. It's not going in the county fair, people. This is going to be used lovingly by my family. And I've already toted it all over the world. I took it on both my retreats. So if you ever go on a retreat and you have your own little room and you're sharing it, a lot of people bring quilts that they've made or that they have that they want to share and show other people. So you should do that if you're ever traveling or going to a retreat. Okay, so I just realized this other one is enormous. And if I couldn't hold up that one, there's no way I'm going to be able to hold this up. So I'm going to pop in a picture of this as well. And I'm going to talk about it just a tad bit. So this is a kit, kinda. I bought the pattern. Actually, the pattern is free. It's from Missouri Star. It came with the panel. The panel is from Mystic Fable. So the panel portion are all the blocks that look like they're appliqued. I did not applique those, friends. That is printed. We call this a cheater print in the quilting world. And it's wonderful because you get the look without having to do all that hard work. So this was my first time making 9 patches. This was also my first time doing stashing. So I learned some things on this. This is also the largest quilt that I've made to date. This is going to be a queen sized quilt when it's all finished, said and done. So I love this so much. I think the fabrics are so adorable. I laughed because I'm not normally like a pinky girly girl. Like I like certain shades of pink, but normally I'm gonna choose like blue or something a little bit more masculine, mustard, like deeper olives, colors like that. Typically my friend Michelle is the one that's gonna pick pink. She also made this quilt. She chose blue for her sashing. I think we had role reversal in the moment. I'll probably pop in a picture of hers too so you can see what it looks like too. But I'm gonna be sending this one off to have it long armed. I did choose and added in a little bit of starry to this collection. Starry is gonna be the backing for the quilt. For the most part, the rest of the line is all the Mystic Fable collection from Missouri Star, which like I said, I love it so much. It's adorable. I mean, look at the cute little rabbits, the flowers. I think one of the things I loved about this too is it looks like a wood block print. So all those fun applique type blocks, to me, they look like a wood block print. So it's just so cute and adorable. I mean, it's just adorable. It's got little houses, it's got little flowers, it's got it all. And then, like I said, we added in Starry because that's one of our favorite Ruby Star lines. Okay, I'm hitting pause and I will do a haul in a little bit. It's a good thing I'm not getting paid to do this camera work because I would be getting fired. Okay, I've set up the tripod, got out some of the haul. It's a lot of haul. I had never been to Missouri Star Quilt Co. So, you know, I'm going to just tell you right quick, they were so generous there. They gave us a lot of stuff. So a lot of the stuff I didn't actually buy. A lot of it was goodie bag and or there was a big scavenger hunt that they sent us on the first day. The first 2 days, I guess, we went on a scavenger hunt. So if you've never been to Hamilton, it is like the whole little town. The town is tiny, but the whole little town kind of reminds me of like the old West, like Texas towns where, you know, you've got like down the main drag, all the shops, right? So aside from like quilt shops, there's a grocery store and there's a bank. And then there's a few other, there's like a jewelry store and a couple other little gift shops. But aside from that, everything else is pretty much Missouri Star, which was totally fine for us because that's what we went there for. But another pro tip, if you ever go on one of the retreats, before you buy a single thing, before you buy one single thing, do the scavenger hunt because they give you so much stuff in the scavenger hunt. So I'm probably not actually going to show the haul in any particular order because it's, like I said, an explosion here in the craft room. Blanco, here's your food. He's like, why is my food all over the floor, man? Like I said, we also went to Color and Cotton. We went to Quilter Station. And we went to some other quilt shops. Quilter's Bliss. We also went to Quilter's Bliss on the way, which was, I think, Kansas and Missouri are like, you know, we were right on the border. So I'm not sure if Quilter's Bliss was in Kansas or if it was in Missouri, but perhaps I'll get to a card and I can tell you more about that. I was very good at Quilter Station. I didn't buy that much. I remember at the beginning of this year, I really had a goal to like stitch from stash and I was trying to not buy 1,000 patterns. So I took things to kit up. So while I was at Quilter Station, I found this beautiful fabric, which I could not leave behind. This is Forbidden Fiber Moth Wing in 32 count, and it's just this gorgeous green. What I am going to stitch on it is something that I am literally dying to stitch, and I kitted it up at Color and Cotton, so I have all the floss for it now too. So let me see if I can put my hand on the pattern. I found this in the mess, the Running Doe Liberty pattern. The reason why I couldn't find it is because I have a million files. I kitted up this. I already have the pattern. This is Salem Sampler by Plum Street. I'm obsessed with it. I think it's amazing. I got this fabric from Quilter Station for it. I thought it was perfect. I pulled floss, the Color and Cotton conversion of floss, with the exception of I'm trying to remember what this color was called. Whatever the color of this motif at the top, which is the winged skull called the Death Head. It says this was at the top of many 17th and 18th century headstones, depicted a soul whose journey was not yet was not over yet. It represented one's passing on to heaven. So this color of the death head, I just didn't think that it looked like what I thought it was going to look like. So I pulled this color. This is Classic Color Works Tiny Vine. And I think it's gonna contrast well on the fabric, and it's outlined as well. So I really liked the color of that with the color of this fabric. So the rest of these are color and cotton. The color and cotton for all of the overdyes. And then she just said to keep the DMCs. So I haven't actually purchased the DMCs yet, but I will purchase those soon because I really want to start this. I love it so much. So what I did while I was there, if you've never been to Color and Cotton, their new showroom is amazing. One of the things about the old showroom was that it was a little bit tight quarters, and because people were doing a lot of floss conversions, they added these new custom tables like in front of the floss wall, and it's so helpful because you have to lay out your project, and they have like the DMC big booklet so you can like look at your colors, and it's just wonderful. They also have a ton of other floss. They have like pretty much all the other floss lines, including some silks. So actually, when I said I didn't have all the DMCs, it looks like I pulled some of the DMCs from what I already had in stash. So we're well on our way to kitting this up. But at the shop, they'll help you with color conversions, and a lot of times they already have them. So you can just ask them up at the front, and they'll print out a sheet that that has all of the color and cotton conversions. And if they don't have one, they'll help you if you need help. Now, Michelle and I were just having a blast in the floss. So, like I said, I was trying to not just buy stuff to buy stuff. I was really just trying to focus on kitting up projects. So that was one of the projects I kitted up. Also at Quilter Station, these cute little pins from Just Another Button Company were at the front. So I picked these up. I like to put these in dough bowl finishes. I'm trying to remember where these came from. Oh, this was also from Color and Cotton. A cute little needle under with a frog. I don't know, I was in a frog mood. I actually just remembered I also bought a frog at Target, and it's still in my husband's car. I need to go and get it. We ended up taking his car so we'd have more room because we had all of our sewing machines and everything. It was packed to the gills. But I had been looking for these Ruby Star zipper pulls. So I got a new phone. And I have been playing around with the camera settings. With the old phone, I would set it where it would stay focused on what was in the center, because I know with these new phones, it oftentimes tries to focus on your face. And I didn't want it doing that. So we're gonna play around with it a little bit. And now I feel like it's not focusing on small stuff whenever I try to show it. Live and learn. Live and learn. The haul is an utter mess. We had a blast though. We really had a good time. I now remember that Quilter's Bliss, which is where this came from, I gave the card to someone else. I never promised this was going to be in any sort of order, but I am going to try to keep it by shop. So I picked up this Ruby Star Society Fat Quarter Bundle. Remember I talked about how much we love Starry? This is like all the fun colors of Starry Fat Quarters. Yeah, that's a fave. And like I said, we used a lot of it in the Ruby Star quilt, the Mystic Fable quilt. This also came home with me. little zipper pull. This is the fat quarter. Not sure what line that is, but I thought it was cute. We found a Mystic Fable mini charm pack. Michelle and I like to make bags out of mini charms. So do we need any more packs? Probably not, but we picked them up anyways. They had Fire Glow and by Ruby Star mini charm pack. And I'm not going to be able to flip through this probably and show it to you, but it is such a cool line. It's the one with all the dragons, and it's not necessarily my flavor, but it's very sought after, and I thought it was fun. So a cute little strawberry needle minder. Everybody needs that. Michelle told me I needed this, and I'm sure I did. It's a little fat quarter of some milk bottles, antique milk bottles, and I do have a small collection of milk bottles. Ooh, I just remembered I have to talk about books and TV at the end too. This is getting longer and longer. That's the way it goes. Okay, so I do not have fabric for this project yet, but I kitted up Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitchery Summer Quilt Barn with the color and cotton flosses. And for this one, there were a couple, and this is another thing I love about color and cotton. If there is a floss that is highly variegated or they just don't have a good match for her, she'll tell you, just use the Weeks for that or use the Gentle Arts for that because it's so unique. And this green is really unique. It's called Shutter Green. So, this is one that I think I just picked colors myself for. Sorry about the rumpling of the packaging, but if I don't put this stuff away, remember how I already said it looked like an explosion in here? It's gonna even be worse if I don't at least put things where they should go. So this is an artsy housewife pattern I have called A Bevy of Beetles. Remember this one? And I have a piece of fabric for this somewhere. So I got floss colors for it. And like I said, again, Michelle and I, for the most part, we pulled our own colors. Some of them, well, the Plum Street one just had so many colors, I just ran up there and asked her if they had a color conversion for it. I think I asked her on this one too, but then we ended up pulling a little bit different pinks and reds just because, I mean, everybody has their own personal, I think, take or taste, both, on a conversion. There were some grab bags at Color and Cotton. This is a lovely grab bag of rickrack. I love to use rickrack for finishing. These were some flosses that didn't have a product. I know, after I said I wasn't doing that. I only did it 4 times. I just really love these colors. So, Teal Thistle, Chameleon, Jasper, and Glow Stick. I love green and orange. Okay, finish the Color and Cotton real quickly. Some fabrics. So this is Wood Smoke. And I got 32 count linens. The organization of the store, like I said, it's bigger and it's just amazing. Like they always do such a good job organizing, even at the other store. But you just have more room to spread out. And now their dyeing facility is like attached. So I think they like it because they're not feeling so run around. This is a one of a kind. Sometimes when you go in this shop, they'll have these pieces that maybe they dyed and they didn't turn out quite like the rest of the batch. So they sell them as one-offs. The only downside to that is if you want something like that, I don't know how to tell you to find it. I just love orange. And then I got this piece of teak wood. And I like to restock my neutrals, and I love to shop for fabric in person because when you're looking at fabric or anything color on a screen, you just don't really know exactly what you're going to get until it arrives. Okay. Remember for my birthday, I got the gingerbread panel. I was trying to remember what it was called. Something hens. Hen houses? Hen house? Something like that. It was this beautiful panel with these adorable little chicken houses, hen houses. And so I saw this pattern and I just had to have it. I'm ready to do something with that panel. And so this is called Hens on Holiday. And I picked up a little bit of this green to do the leaves. And this is so cute. They had it, I might pop in a picture of this. They had it hanging up in the front window of the quilt shop over in Hearst called Sew It Up. I get it mixed up with another quilt shop that's right around the corner called Must Love Fabric. Oh, one more thing from Color and Cotton. They had some freebie bags. I thought these lobsters were so funny. Will loves a lobster. Oh, one more project I kitted up at Color and Cotton. I told you this was going to be disorganized, and it is what it is. For a while, I have had this pattern called America from Twin Peak Primitives. And I was kind of wanting to start this year, but I also feel like it kind of has like fall vibes because of the colors. And so for a while, I've had this piece of fabric pulled to stitch it on. It is called Bayou. It's a 16 count Aida by Volcano, which I think is Atomic Ranch. I thought it was absolutely beautiful. And so this was a full conversion by me because the Twin Peak Primitives pattern calls for DMCs. So I just went through the DMC with the book and pulled Color and Cottons that I thought were similar. So the fun thing about that is obviously you're going to get all the variegation in the flosses, whereas, you know, with the DMCs, you're just getting a flat color. Some of these are really pretty and such beautiful variegation. It's a really soft color palette. I think it's going to be really pretty. I was trying to show it to you with the fabric, and then I folded the fabric up so neatly, but now you can't see the color of the fabric. There we go. So I've got several projects kitted up, which I'm excited about, and I don't have really any plans for start dates on these. Like I said, I'm not even sure what I'm going to do for August yet. I'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. I probably will continue with the temperature stitching because I am enjoying it. At Must Love Fabric, fat quarters are, I might have already shown you this. Fat quarters, I think it's if you buy 6, you get the 7th one free. So I got a free fat quarter. Okay, Missouri Star. There was a huge box that came to my house from Missouri Star. Okay, I'm not gonna go over this in like uber detail because there's just so much. But I will tell you that when you go to Missouri Star, like I said, they give you lots and lots and lots of stuff, freebies. So most of this was stuff that they gave me and not stuff that I purchased. Some of it I purchased, but the majority of it was stuff that they gave us. Like whether it was while we were waiting for like instructions or like between activities, they came around and gave us the things. Like almost every step of the way they were giving us stuff. At the end of the week, they were like, if you need stuff shipped home, we will ship it to you for free if it's stuff that you bought from here. The main reason why they didn't want to ship stuff that wasn't theirs was just because they didn't, if it got damaged, they couldn't replace it. So they didn't want us like shipping home quilts and stuff that we had already started that, you know, was irreplaceable. I did give a little bit of it away. I did ship a box home. Michelle shipped a box home. Her mom shipped a box home. Like I said, the car was full to the gills already from the get-go, so we didn't really have a lot of room. But I'm just gonna run through quickly. They gave us thread. They gave us rotary blades, which we liked, so we went back when they were on sale and bought more rotary blades. They have a special, like a deal of the day every day, so there's always something. They gave us charm packs. They gave us mini charms. I'm trying to dig without knocking over the hole. They gave us some solids. Like each shop you went into gave you something. I also won bingo, so I got some extra prizes from that. When we were playing bingo, they gave us a ton of patterns. And then I went and purchased, actually they gifted us this pattern keeper, this little book. And then I went and got some more sleeves to put in this. So they gave us a stack of quilt patterns. Some of these are the quilt projects that we worked on, a couple of them, and then some of them are ones that I purchased additionally and just put in here. So I have an Alice in Wonderland panel I want to make this quilt with from Ruby Star. And then I thought this was a good jelly roll quilt pattern. Like I said, I'm not going to go through every single one of these because I will have a video that's 600 miles long. I'll pop in a picture of this block. So this was one of the projects that we worked on and got started at the retreat. And then this is the backing for that fabric for that project that I picked up while I was there. They gave us a whole embroidery kit, this awesome binder. So there is a pattern that goes with this. How cute are those little chickens? So I actually saw this in the shop, and like I said, that's the other reason why not to shop until the very end, because they gave us so much stuff. So this embroidery kit has a hoop and floss and templates for making the quilt, a needle minder, the whole 9 yards. Running out of places to put all this. I actually did purchase this on my own, but they gave us this cute little bee zipper pull. No, sorry, the bee zipper pull was on there. They gave us this little needle minder tin. So this was a really cute project bag. You could keep her. I do a lot of quilt like day retreats, and so this is perfect for putting a project in and hauling it over to the retreat center. Some fabrics I picked up for bindings. This is going to be on my Maeve quilt, and I'll pop in a picture of my Maeve block. I did work on, or a few pictures of the Maeve quilt. I worked on that a little bit while I was at the retreat. This is going to be the binding for the Ruby Star quilt. I can't wait to put all this away. It's been sitting out. They gave us mini travel sewing tin packaged. It was super cute. Everything they have is so cutely branded. It's got a little seam ripper, scissors, a tape measure, little floss drops, little baby scissors. I don't suppose I need to put that back. So at bingo, I won a table runner. They have all these cute fabrics that are exclusive to Missouri Star. I think that's one of them. They gave us a cute little notebook. They came around and gave us tons of stickers and cards. Like I said, they were spoiling us left and right. They came around and gave us fabric. That was a Christmas line. When I won bingo, they gave me these hexies. Am I going to use these hexies? I'm not sure. I did give a little bit of stuff away that I purchased. Oh, I bought a t-shirt pattern that calls for this template. They have a lot of really cool templates. This is the apple core template. They gave us rulers, several of them. They gave us this one, and they also gave us a little, like a 3.5-inch ruler. They gave us these cute little holiday pins. I got a magnet of the mural that's out there, out in Hamilton, in the little town. That was my keepsake. And I also bought a t-shirt, which it's been worn and probably dirty again. They gave us needles. Like I said, they gave us rotary blades, and then we went back and bought more rotary blades. They gave us a mini charm pack from Tula Pink, True Colors. I never know how to show these. It's kind of hard to flip through those and actually see any of the fabric. Okay, I think this is the last of the Missouri Star haul. Oh wait, let me show you one more. I'll pop in a picture of the quilt kit of the other project, but I didn't actually start this one yet because I was overwhelmed and I really wanted to finish my Ruby Star quilt first before I started another one. So I got the demonstration for how to do this one, and I love the fabrics for it. So I will get started on it soon. It's called Churn Dash Dance. And it's just so cute. It's got polka dots and checks and stripes, kind of a little bit masculine as far as the prints go. I got this for the backing. They were out of the polka dot, so I got the check. You know how I love a check. So yeah, the retreat itself included the quilt kits, not the backing fabrics. Those were additional. But you got the quilt kit, the pattern. Like I said, they just spoiled us left and right. They gave us so much stuff. And then it also included the stay. So if you've ever been to boxcar quilts, I would say the retreat center setup is pretty similar. You have the twin beds in all the rooms, and then like a hall of showers that everyone kind of shares. But it was great. We had a good time. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I got some Tula Pink stripe. You know how I was saying I get sick of summer and what calls me is fall? You can probably hear the cicadas out there squealing. These were some fall fabrics I picked up. I thought these little witches boots or shoes and tights were so cute. I feel like someone else made adorable little project bags out of those. How cute is this little bag? They gave us bags and bags and bags. I have like a whole tote bag full of tote bags. Okay, so I mentioned that I also went to a friend's retreat and I got tons of goodies from that too. Everyone is always so generous. I'm not going to show all those things because this video is getting a million miles long, but I treasure all the things and my time I spent with those ladies. If you've ever been to a retreat, you know people are just so generous. They just give and give and give. Handmade things, incredible stuff. And I picked up a lot of stuff off the freebie table. So if you ever go to a retreat, usually there is what they call a freebie table, and you can take your charts that are gently used and put them over on the freebie table to share with other people, and then you can pick up some. So I came home with lots of charts, lots of fun things to stitch. Okay, quick about books, and then we're done with this video. Remember I told you last month that I was listening to The Four Winds? Well, I decided it was a little bit too much like the Calamity Club, which I loved the Calamity Club, don't get me wrong, but I feel like just the topics and even the lady's voice who was narrating it was a little bit too similar. So I just hit pause on it. I returned it back to the library, and I'll get that one again at another point. That was by Kristen Hanna. I'll pop in a picture of all the book covers. But I wasn't ready to watch that or listen to it, I mean. And so I was patiently waiting for more audiobooks, but I was traveling, so I really didn't have a lot of reading time. Still reading Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, but I have gotten a little further along in that book. And then I just downloaded Whistler by Ann Patchett, and I'm really enjoying it. And it's another one that's narrated by Meryl Streep, and she's got a great voice. And so far, I'm just barely into the book, but I'm really enjoying it. So stay tuned for my review on that one next month. The other thing that we've been watching is The Big Bang Theory, and we are almost finished. We are on the last season. We had the big wedding with Amy and Joel, and it was so cute. Best line, "You look like a pile of swans." That was when he saw her in her wedding dress. They're so funny. Tyler and I also watched the newest season of The Bear, and we enjoyed that. It's serious. Like, that one's a little deep. It's a little dark, but it's fun. It's interesting. It's entertaining. And then for a movie night, we watched Remarkably Bright Creatures, which this is on a Netflix with Sally Fields, and it was so good. I loved it so much. I loved it as much as I loved the book. I think my husband enjoyed it too, even though he didn't read the book. But it wasn't quite as in-depth as the book, but you know, movies kind of never are. But I still enjoyed it. Lots of baseball watching. The Rangers are still in first place. So we're getting ready to go to another game next week. Looking forward to that. A huge series actually going on right now. So I need to say goodbye and go watch the end of the game. Let my husband off the hook from being super quiet out there and being so patient while I showed you all the haul and gave you all the reviews for all the things I read and watched. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be back again at the end of August, 1st of September. Can you believe it will be September? That sounds crazy. I'm ready for the Burr months. Bring it. Bye.